Hello, everyone. We're here with Phil Shapiro, PSM Track. Phil, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Tony. My name is Phil Shapiro. I have been in affiliate marketing since I was 13 years old, so about going on 23 years now. My first significant business was an affiliate network called CPA Trend, which I started in 2010, 15 years ago, and ran that for about 8 years. I've had different businesses, and most recently, I was the CEO of AdSense Media, where we worked together for a few years. Um, where I also learned quite a bit about, the non-incent space, excuse me, the incentivized space, having a background in non-incent. So I have a lot of different expertise and a lot of different, hopefully, information and nuggets to share. And since then, I've just been doing some consulting for smaller companies, and just providing, a higher level of expertise on a fractional basis. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. Well, we will jump right into it. So yeah, today we're going to cover why outside expertise is the fastest path to profitable affiliate scale. And so, just to kind of kick it off, as far as being a consultant goes, how does that help a program reach affiliates that maybe they could not, like a new program either couldn't get access to?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, recruiting affiliates is challenging in of itself. There's thousands upon thousands of affiliates out there, and it's not just about building a program and then adding every affiliate you could possibly find to it. It's about adding the affiliates that are going to really match your program and provide the highest quality traffic for your program specifically. So, I would say that a quality conscious brand can definitely build trust and partnerships over time. But where a consultant or an agency can really come in and help them is to speed up that process with their experience, with their connections, people that they've already worked with, over years in some cases. I would also say that in a lot of cases, affiliates are often hesitant to work with brand new brands that don't really have a track record, payment history. They're not certain if the tracking is set up properly and things of that nature. So, again, where consulting comes in is, they make sure all the ducks are in a row. Tracking works perfectly. The payout strategy and structure is really top notch, and it kind of adds a level of trust for a brand that may not have that already.
Awesome. That's great. And as far as like, connecting with, building their relationships, is it just like a matter of, working with them on, let's say, like a previous program and getting to know them, like with an affiliate, or is it something where a consultant will go in and kind of research how they do things and kind of figure out a way to best grow the relationship?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And the way I think about kind of relationships in this space is that they're not unique to, it's kind of like relationship building anywhere, friendships, romantic even. It's like you have to really take the time to, put forward the effort, be consistent in it. But I would say that it really is about, building high trust relationships, and non-consultants can of course do that. And it's a matter of putting in the time, communicating effectively with people, being fair, and really sticking to your word. And that's something that for me, like having been in the industry for so long, I wouldn't be here for so long had I not done things like that, like being fair and sticking to your word. And sometimes it's really hard to stick to your word because you could lose a lot of money that way. Like if you make some sort of promise and it doesn't work out, well, if you back out of your promise, you lose a partner. They're going to tell people about that. And so you definitely want to be, um, honest, but stick to your guts. And yeah, I would say that building relationships, it's anyone can do it, but um, it's very important to kind of follow those tenets.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great point about like the fact that these things get around. Everybody in the industry in the affiliate space kind of knows everybody,
Yep.
and yeah, you definitely the reputations do follow. That's great. So when a brand looks into hiring a consultant to grow their affiliate marketing program, what kind of stuff do you normally do to, or you or yourself or like another consultant, what kind of stuff do you normally do to get them kind of their program get started quickly in the first 30 days?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. That's like, the primary question that, people hiring a consultant want to know. It's like, what can you do for me, right away? And I never like to overpromise and underdeliver. So I like to be quite transparent about, what the first 30 days should look like, what the first 90 days should look like. In the first month, though, that's really where I would say at the first week to week and a half or so is really all about auditing. So if there's an affiliate program that exists already, I'm going to take a deep dive, look into exactly how it was built already, from the tracking infrastructure to the types of partners that have been recruited and things of that nature. So get a really deep understanding of where they are. And that's when I could then provide my recommendations, modifications that I want to see and go from there. Um, if there's not a program already existing, it really is a major, communication, learning about the business economics, most importantly, finding the touch points where we want to try to drive not only like for the affiliates to promote, but like where we're trying to get the users to, and build a program based on that type of behavior that we're trying to drive. Um, Also, most importantly, from our perspective, especially, is the tracking platform. So, again, if there is no program, it's about finding the right tracking platform that is going to fit the brand's needs, not just a price point and not just this. Like every tracking platform is different. Every different platform has ease of use issues and all sorts of things. So you have to find the right platform that the brand can use properly, but also that has the functionality that they actually need, and not just like what sounds good in the demo and this and that. And so, I have a great fondness for Everflow. I've used it and I absolutely love it. It's so easy to use. It has all the functionality you could possibly need. So I would certainly recommend Everflow to any brand that's interested, either in starting a program or transitioning from, a less than ideal situation that they're currently in. But I've also worked with many different platforms. Cake has offers, Impact, CJ, and others. And you and I also worked on within proprietary tracking system. So, from my perspective on the consulting side, that's super important. And having someone that really has a deep understanding of tracking is really, really important to building an affiliate program the right way.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great point. And when you're looking at affiliate tracking platforms for your clients, are there anything? I know you mentioned Everflow, but are there any things that like just general features that you look for? Like, are you looking for a specific type of tracking capability or a specific type of automation? Anything that like stands out as like this is a must-have on a platform?
Oh yeah. So for me, I am a huge, huge buff for event tracking. It's to me, it's one of the most important things that a platform can possibly offer. And I was there before it existed, and then I saw as platforms started adding it, and even in my last role, I helped build that out for the proprietary tracking. It's so important. It's really for multiple reasons. But the main reason is from a brand's perspective. Yes, you can buy installs if you're an app. You could buy, a lead, CPL lead, if you're, a lead form type of company. But to be able to track a user along the flow, deep funnel, see what they're doing, where they're dropping off, all that type of stuff, you can't do that without event tracking. And so it not only put you in a position to compensate affiliates for the type of events that you're hoping will happen, that revenue drivers and things of that nature, but it also gives you a crazy amount of data that you can make better decisions on as users move throughout your funnel. So
Yeah,
event tracking is a huge one.
yeah, for sure. And that kind of segues into something that I wanted to ask as far as like do you see, is that like a common mistake? Do you see a lot of brands they're not taking advantage of event tracking and they're not using it in their programs?
Yeah, I mean, some brands don't even know it exists. If I'm being honest, like I've worked with a lot of different teams, and you'll have like marketing directors or people that have an understanding of like let's say Google ads and Facebook ads, Meta. Excuse me, I'm aging myself here. Meta ads and things of that nature, but you know they're used to kind of like buying traffic, but they're not so used to kind of the nitty gritty of the technical side of it. And I consider like event tracking like quite technical because you need a database that can process this type of information. It's not just like, oh, we have events and it's tracking now. Like you actually have to trigger those event postbacks to occur, and so there has to be the server communication. And so there's just a lot of companies that don't have that level of sophistication. And don't even know that it exists or how it could apply to their business. And so, a good consultant can help them, understand A, what capabilities are out there, and B, how it actually applies to their business and why they should use certain technology like that.
As far as like circling back to working with a consultant for the first time,
Mhm.
are there specific milestones that a client should look for to make sure that everything is on the right track?
I would say that, like I said, the first week and a half or so should be auditing, really getting a full understanding. From there, it really is about making sure the technology is all in place, the tracking is working flawlessly. So there's going to be a lot of testing. If we're using events, it's testing each event, making sure that the postbacks are firing perfectly. And this way, you can go out there and really have confidence when you're speaking to prospective affiliates. Hey. Uh, Here's where we are. This is the strategy. This is the payouts for the different events. Everything is working perfectly. It's fully tested. Here's your link. Let's go. And so that's going to be, within a couple of weeks, you should really be prepared to do that. And I would say in the first 30 days, like at the end of that 30-day period, you should have, um, audited tracking payouts, a full onboarding process. So like, welcome emails and like, who's your account manager, this type of stuff. And you should have I guess we could say like finalized payout, finalized terms. Like what is considered fraud, stuff like that. I would produce new creatives so that there's the affiliates have something to at least use banners and things to promote. And by the end of the month, the program should really have some partners. So not a ton of partners, but you're going to have a couple partners that are willing to test your new program and get you some test data. And so I would say that's really a good first month, basically having all of your ducks in order, and then finally getting this, moving the needle to being live and having some actions actually taking place. So you're on the right track.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. That's like an outstanding answer. Like I think that's a question I think that people definitely need to know. So that's fantastic. Um, as far as hiring and choosing a consultant, are there things that maybe you would consider to be red flags when you're choosing a consultant, like stuff that is like, oh, maybe this is not the right consultant fit for me?
Yeah, so listen, there's a lot of consultants and a lot of agencies in affiliate marketing. In fact, before I started consulting, I didn't realize how many there were. I always thought, like you said, like it's a small industry. I didn't realize how many people consider themselves experts and things of that nature. So, what I would say is there's a lot of really good people out there. Like I know a lot of them. There's some really talented people out there that really know what they're talking about. But I would say that the one thing to avoid is when people make outrageous promises, and this goes for any industry, any kind of walk of life. It's like if someone is making a promise that just doesn't seem right, it's like, oh, like I could, do 4,000 times what you're doing in 2 months. Like, just pay me this amount of money per month. And it's like, it's not likely to be true. Like, I would definitely say that if someone kind of lays something out for you, in a very realistic way, and sometimes, being realistic is dampening expectations. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear, hey, like you're going you want to go too fast, like we need to take a step back. But I would definitely respect the people who have the courage to say, hey, we need to take a step back. We need to slow things down a bit and get things right from the start before we just say we're going to go from 0 to 1 million in a month. And so, just I would stick with people who provide realistic expectations and sound like they're on, planet Earth.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And also with the affiliate industry, there's so much. It's always like people trying to be the best, people trying to outproduce other things. Like it's just so much such a competition and so much exaggeration. So that's a great point. Yeah. So as far as working with a consultant, for any brand who's kind of hesitant about the cost, like um, is there how can they kind of figure out how this will work for them as far as like the fitting in the cost versus like the benefits of it?
That's a great question. I do have a bit of a long form answer to that. Because there's so many different ways that you could really um, see the benefits, but also like I don't want to say that a consultant is necessarily the answer for everybody. Like if you have a large company, if you're very heavily within the affiliate space, like you probably don't need a consultant. But if you're just getting into the affiliate marketing space and you don't really know where to begin, that's really the perfect time to hire a consultant because it does take quite a long time to learn the nuances of the industry. But what I would say is that, like, first and foremost, like, you're going to save so much time and money on hiring. And I know that sometimes a consultant can cost more than maybe like a full-time affiliate manager in some cases. But if for a brand who's looking to move pretty quickly, like, it takes months to hire an employee. And right now, especially, the cost of hiring is quite high. Using LinkedIn or different job sites, it's very expensive. And so if it takes you a couple of months, you're spending thousands of dollars plus hundreds of man hours of reviewing resumes. Even though I know AI is apparently doing that now, I'm kind of old school. And so reviewing the resumes, but then interviewing, 10, 20 people for a job, at least, I would hope. You're talking, thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours. And so uh, that would be the first saving that I imagine a consultant is because a consultant, with a lot of experience is going to plug right in. I mean, once you sign that, once the ink dries on the paperwork, they're ready to go. They already know, you've had your initial conversations. They already know what they have to do before, they're really working with you. Um, Secondly, what I would say is that there's a lot of fraud traffic in the affiliate space. And so, a consultant or, an agency as well, they're going to have a lot of experience with dealing with, all sorts of different traffic sources and different partner types. And so, if you're going at it on your own, you will not know all the different types of fraud that exist. And it's really hard to spot traffic, negative trends and different fraudulent things if you don't know what to look for. And so, you're probably going to save, 20% of your spend, in some cases minimum, on just paying out fraud by having someone who knows what to look for. Um, Third, I would say that um, a consultant is really going to have they're going to take a deep dive into the economics of your business, the brand's business. And so, an affiliate manager, while they could be great at their job, they might not truly understand the full nuances of the business and how to, integrate that into building out a full strategy for the affiliate program, and making sure that it works. Sometimes when people are compensated, for example, based on how much revenue they generate or how many leads they can produce, it doesn't necessarily jive with the brand's economics and what their overall goals are. So I would say like building a strategy from that perspective would be very important. And then lastly, and sorry for the long response here, lastly, I would say that an affiliate marketing consultant can really jumpstart how quickly not only you get to market, but how quickly you have partners promoting your campaign. So, if you start a brand on your own, start an affiliate program on your own as a brand, you have assume no connections in the space. You don't know which companies to recruit as publishers. You don't really know, which direction to take, and you don't know who to avoid either, which is quite important. So I would say that you might jumpstart and have active partners within 2 or 3 months instead of, let's say, 6 months of like, kind of a lot of trial and error and hitting those pitfalls that you should really kind of hope to avoid. So that's my long form. I sorry, it's a little long.
Oh no, that was fantastic. And I actually the point you made about fraud was brilliant. Like that's super interesting because that is going to offset a lot of the costs. So that's great.
Oh yeah.
Um, Yeah, so as far as working with a when you have a consultant and you've hired as a consultant, what is the best way for an internal team to work with that consultant to kind of learn and pick up skills versus just kind of being more passive and just waiting for the data and just seeing the results?
Yeah, so I love this question because this is actually an issue I deal with clients sometimes, and I say the same thing every time, especially before I start working with them. I say, listen, yes, the affiliate program is going to be a separate channel from your other paid media, right? But if you treat the affiliate program separate from your marketing team and separate from your overall marketing strategy, it's going to create problems. And so the first thing I do is say, please incorporate me into your marketing team. Let me communicate with all of the players of your marketing team so that we have a fixed strategy and a fixed message across marketing channels. Affiliate marketing is a part of your marketing, so a consultant should be treated that way as a part of the team. And what I have found is when the consultant is a part of a team, it works far better than when they're isolated, kind of like on an island, just doing their own thing. That's that's super important to me. And then, two other things I would say on that is that uh, someone like myself, I'm happy to have a shadow. If you want someone to kind of learn, while I'm doing work and stuff like that, I'd be happy to, shadow with anyone from a team because it's just it's an extra person to talk to. It gets very lonely on the island there. But also, people should be learning about affiliate marketing. It shouldn't just be isolated. It should be something that, a whole team learns about because it's still marketing, and yes, it's third parties that are promoting your brand. So there should be a level of, transparency within who's doing what and who's promoting my brand and things of that nature. So, like I said, happy to have someone shadow. But then what I do for all of my clients, and I'm sure other companies do this too, but I provide step-by-step documentation of all my processes, and I think that's really important because yes, you may not want to engage me forever. And if you want me to, let's say, for example, help hire an affiliate manager to take over the program, I'm happy to do that, as part of the services I provide. But to get to just, spend a few weeks training someone is not enough. They need documentation, not only from me and the processes that I do, but for example, being able to go through like Everflow's tracking documentation, which is extensive, and for someone like me, it's nice to go through. It's kind of easier to go through, but for someone who really doesn't have like a lot of experience, it would be like reading an encyclopedia and a very complicated encyclopedia. So I would say like being able to point people in the right direction as well is really important. So documentation is really important, and then finally, what I'll say on that is. Also providing like my own CRM of partnerships, who I'm reaching out to, who is an active partner outside of just like the tracking platform, so that there's no missing link between the services that I'm providing and the information and work that I'm doing versus like if someone wanted to take over, they could jump right in taking what I've worked on. So I'm sure many consultants and companies do that, but that's something that's very important to me.
No, that's awesome, and be able to yeah, it's almost like you understand that it may not be forever the relationship, and so you want to
Mhm.
make it as easy as possible. And I think that's fantastic. Being a consultant, are there different ways that you help a program get diverse types of affiliates active?
Yeah, so I would like to say that a good affiliate program has a very wide and diverse subset of affiliates. Like you're going to have your display partners, you're going to have your paid social partners, you're going to have content sites and all sorts of different things that, incentivize, as you mentioned, incentivize partners, media buyers, in-app DSPs. Like there's just, I could keep going, email marketers. And so to have a very diverse subset of affiliates is really important because you're getting different types of quality from each source. Different affiliate partners are just better than other affiliate partners at generating the results that you're hoping for. So you really need to test across channels, across partners, and from the affiliate marketing perspective, have a budget for testing so that you can find the diamonds in the rough that are going to really produce, massive results for you. So yes, a diverse affiliate program is super important. Like anything, diversity is always important, and you never want to have all of your eggs in one basket. And I'll give you a quick example of that. So at CPA Trend, my first company, we did have all of our eggs in one basket. So it's a life lesson learned. We focused on dating very heavily, and I would say like 70% of our traffic at one point, I think it was like 2014, was Facebook traffic for dating. And I'll never forget it. On Valentine's Day of 2014, Facebook completely cut dating from being an allowed um, niche within their platform. And so overnight, about 60-70% of our revenue was gone. And so um, having a diverse network of partners is super important because that could happen at any time. If you're promoting with Google and then Google decides, hey, we don't want your niche anymore, they just cut it from their terms and it's over. And so you definitely want to be well diversified.
That is amazing that they did it. I mean, unfortunate, but amazing they did it on Valentine's
I
Day. That's
I mean
ridiculous.
you can't make that up. You can't make it
What?
up.
I mean, that had to be like a conscious decision on their part, and
Oh yeah.
just that's nuts. Wow, that's yeah, that's that is madness. And just kind of the last thing I wanted to ask is that as far as when a brand starts working with a consultant, what do you think a realistic time frame is for them to start realizing ROI and think, okay, you know what, like this is definitely worth it. This relationship is working out.
Yeah, so it's a good question, and it's really hard to give, a straight answer. And the reason is like, so I have a client now that um, I I'm very impressed with myself in terms of results that I've driven in only 3 months. Like I almost can't believe it. But in terms of like the revenue that I've been driving for them through the affiliate channel, it's about, within 3 months, it's been about 6 times what I charge is the revenue that I've produced for them. And so some partners are going to be like that, where it's like, this is a really perfect fit for the affiliate model. And I can sell this program to a lot of different partners. Everyone's interested. Everyone thinks the payouts are great. Like, so sometimes you run into situations like that, and it becomes far easier to produce those types of results. And then other times, it's a really difficult sell. Maybe a product is not really a perfect fit for the affiliate channel, and it can take a lot longer to get meaningful results. And so, in those cases, it doesn't mean that a consultant or if you hire an affiliate manager, it doesn't mean that the effort isn't there. It just means that we have to find how to make this work for the affiliate channel, and that might just take more time. So, I'd like to say that within 90 days, you should start seeing some meaningful ROI on the expense of a consultant or an affiliate manager. But in some cases, it might take a year. But I would say that like the sweet spot for seeing truly meaningful ROI is probably that 6 month range. You really do have to give it enough time to get off its feet, to test and make sure that the offer itself is performing well for affiliates. Because if that isn't, there's nothing that a consultant or affiliate manager can do if the offer doesn't work and produce meaningful EPCs for affiliates so that they can keep promoting it. So building something sustainable, it sometimes takes time, but I would say like that 6 month would be the sweet spot. But 3 months it's doable for sure.
Awesome. No, that's great. That makes a ton of sense. Well, that was everything I had. Was there anything you wanted to cover? Anything else about working with a consultant?
Working with a consultant, the idea in this space is to make things easier for a brand. And so, it's not the end all be all solution. I could only speak for myself. It's like I think that my pricing is quite fair based on my experience and the results that I know I'm able to provide. But there could be cheaper alternatives. There could be more expensive alternatives that more align with what the brand is looking for. So it really depends on what someone's looking for, and um, you know, it, yeah, I would just say that there's no one straight answer to it, and that there's so many different ways to really get involved in the affiliate marketing space, and it depends on your level of patience, how quickly you want to move towards having your program out there, really, how fast you want to build it, and I think a consultant is a great way to, speed things up and do things the right way from day one. Or if you already have a program that's struggling, and you really are not sure where to turn, have someone who knows what they're doing look at it and give you some advice there.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. So
Great.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Tony.
I will. Yeah, no problem.